G'day everyone, and welcome to VHS Roulette.
Last time, he got satisfaction as Action Jackson. This time, he hits like a hurricane. Carl Weathers is Hurricane Smith.
Yes, sir.
Action Jackson, Apollo Creed, what was his name in Mandalorian?
I didn't see Mandalorian.
Oh, anyway,
he was in Predator. He was Dylan in Predator.
Dylan, you son of a bitch!
And that episode of Good Times where JJ's painting a picture of his wife in the nude, and Carl Weathers finds out about it.
Hey! Who are you?
He's my husband.
Oh, nice to meet you. You owe me $25 for services rendered.
He made an indelible mark on American cinema. Well, in this case, he made a very small mark on Australian cinema.
Yes.
Sir, welcome to the Gold Coast.
Thank you.
Hurricane Smith, even though it begins in Marshall, Texas, the majority of the movie takes place in
Australia,
but specifically it takes place in Surfer's Paradise
on the Gold Coast.
So Surfer's Paradise is a real place, even though it sounds like somewhere that Gary Busey
It sounds like
hangs out.
Sounds like a 80s movie hang, you know.
Let's go to the Surfer's Paradise.
My beach, my waves, my chicks.
Let's go! Carl Weathers, who plays Billy Hurricane Smith, he's called lots of things in this movie, but Billy Hurricane Smith is his name. And the movie starts off with him working on a construction site.
Hey, the sheriff's on the phone!
He gets some bad news about his mom, and it turns out that she died. So he decides that it's about time he goes and finds his sister, who went off to Australia. He hasn't heard from her in a while. He does what any red-blooded Texan would do, and he takes off to Australia.
Good day, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Brisbane, gateway to Queensland and the magnificent Gold Coast.
This movie moves at like a breakneck pace. It's 86 minutes long, and it feels like it's an hour long. He lands in Australia. He lands in Surfer's Paradise, Gold Coast, Australia. He hails a cab, and immediately he's just like, the cabbie's, where do you want to go? And he's like, I need a house. Take me to a house. And incredibly, somehow, the cabbie, he just tells the cabbie to keep driving.
Just go south.
The house. Any particular kind of house? Like a house on any particular street, perchance, mate?
Look, you're doing real good. Just keep heading the way you're heading, mate.
I don't know how big this city is, but incredibly, they just happen to find the house. Hurricane just knocks on the door, and they just kind of let him in.
They mistake him for a client.
A client.
Because this house is really a very chic and modern brothel.
Anybody home?
And immediately he meets with Julie. He starts asking about his sister, and she seems to know more than she's letting on.
But then we meet
The one and only
Shanks.
Shanks is kind of the greatest character in this movie.
What's going on here? Who are you, mate?
I'm Billy Smith, looking for my sister.
Yeah? And I'm the Donna.
So Shanks is kind of like the... What is his job?
He's just like a punching bag, and he occasionally does things at the brothel, I guess.
He's kind of the manager? I guess, of the brothel.
Come on, mate, we're trying to run a business here now. Get out.
Basically, he is an underling of our lead villain, which is played by Jurgen Prochnow, who is playing Charlie Dowd. Hurricane Smith says, "I'm coming back. You tell Julie that I'm coming back." And he leaves. We find out...
And then Shanks is like, "And get going! You keep walking!
And stay out!"
And right around then, the actual client shows up, but Julie doesn't want to. She doesn't want to go through with it now.
Not about that life
Yeah, she met Hurricane Smith.
Yeah, look, don't worry about it, mate. It happens to us all. Family troubles, a bit of stress at home. If you drop back later on this evening, I've got a great girl. She does it without a condom. It's filthy. You'll love it.
Charlie Dowd, played by Jurgen Prochnow, who is a pimp, a pusher, a bad guy, basic bad guy. There's really nothing to Jurgen. That has to be the one. I guess there are a couple of negatives for this movie, but one of the big negatives is, like, a great action movie needs a great villain, right? Like Die Hard, you have Hans Gruber.
Lethal Weapon, you have Gary Busey.
Demolition Man, you have Wesley Snipes.
Death Wish, all the bad guys in Death Wish are fucking ridiculous.
You got the shaved head guy in Death Wish 3.
Yeah.
In this movie, you have Jurgen Prochnow, and Jurgen has been great in movies. He was in Das Boot.
Yes.
He was in The Keep.
Yes.
He was in Judge Dredd.
Beverly Hills Cop 2.
In this movie, he just immediately, he just bad guys it up, because when I think of, like, generic bad guy, it's just like, what are you doing? And then smack somebody right away.
Yeah.
And that's basically what he does. He hears that Julie didn't want to sleep with her client, and so, well, first he smacks around Shanks, because Shanks is just an easy target.
There's this great scene where there's this arch that's in the middle of this building they're at, this house, and it's just tall enough, sir. If you were to just shove Shanks against, like, this arch, his head goes right up against the where this arch starts to move out from the wall and then arch again.
Yeah.
So he just, like, becomes the wall
It's
for this
perfect.
scene.
You do what I say when I say. Got that, Sunshine?
Yeah, I've got it.
Jurgen comes over to the house with a bunch of ladies and some guys, some thugs.
Slaps Shanks, like, twice.
Yeah.
Glad to hear it.
Charlie, it's supposed to be a party.
And then is about to do something bad with Julie, and then Hurricane just gives him a power slam to his back and just completely knocks him out. Julie makes it seem like Hurricane just ran in there and started causing a ruckus, but truly now Julie and Hurricane are now working together, because Julie's kind of got an instant connection with Hurricane.
And she knows Hurricane's sister.
Exactly, and they were friends.
Or knew her.
The more investigating that Hurricane does, we find out that Jurgen, or Charlie Dowd, has a boss. And his boss is named Fenton. And Fenton is, like, even less fleshed out. Like, I don't even know what Fenton does, except he likes horses. Right? And boats.
I want to talk to you about some details. In my office. Now.
So we know that Charlie Dowd is kind of making designs on Fenton's girlfriend, because their first meeting together, Charlie Dowd and Fenton, he slaps his girlfriend's butt. And so we're like, oh, okay, so he's kind of trying to be the next in line to be whatever the hell Fenton is, which is crime generic boss guy. Hurricane, obviously he needs a place to stay, so he has to stay at... first, he's staying at the Apollo Hotel, which is really cool because he was Apollo Creed in that one movie. But then he ends up staying at this bar / apartment complex. I don't know. It's a bar, and he's staying with Griffo, who is this very personable, 4-foot-tall Australian guy who wears Hawaiian shirts, and happens to be Julie's grandfather.
You got something against Americans?
All apart from the fact that they're a bunch of loudmouth, self-opinionated bastards who robbed the country blind during the last World War. Not a thing.
But you don't like Americans too much.
Oh, yes! We forgot about one of the biggest things in this movie is that all Americans, not just Hurricane Smith, who is called this almost immediately, but at first it seems like some sort of racial slur or something, but the cabbie that helps him find the house miraculously calls him a septic.
There you go. Keep the change.
Hey, thanks for nothing, septic.
We were both like, what the hell is that? Because I've never heard that ever in my life, but apparently septic tank, yank, American.
It's not a bloody dewdrop in, you know. And apart from that, he's a bloody septic.
He's a what?
Hurricane, in a scene that we don't get to see, there's a lot. It seems like so much was cut out of this movie to make it just
80 minutes, yeah.
Let's go. Jurgen says we're gonna pick up when he's talking to his boss, Fenton. He's like, "We've got him. We're gonna pick him up." How did they find out where Hurricane was? We don't know.
How'd they get the jump on him?
How'd they get the jump on him?
You don't figure that out either.
Yeah, suddenly, Hurricane's just in the car and he's caught. They beat him up a little bit, and then they just kind of let him go. They're like, "Get out of here, you septic."
Yeah.
That's enough. And then we get a bonding scene between Hurricane and Julie to heal Hurricane Smith's non-wounds, because he doesn't seem to have a bruise on him, even though he's beaten to shit in the locker room. She dips a knife in ice, in just a pitcher of ice, and she says, "Griffo says this is the best way to treat swelling." And so it's just a butcher's knife stuck in ice, and then she puts it on his back. And I've never seen that in another movie either, so those are two firsts in Hurricane Smith.
You sure about this?
Griffo reckons it's about the best thing to take the swelling down, and he should know.
Charlie Dowd, Jurgen Prochnow, kind of knows that Julie is involved, or at least thinks so. He messes up her sweet pad, throws things around. I don't know why. It seems like he's looking for something, but all he does is write slut on her mirror, which, come on, what are you achieving with that?
There's that crazy car chase, which was pretty good, honestly.
Oh, yeah. Charlie Dowd and his goons are chasing after Julie first, and at some point she gets into a SeaWorld bus, and it's incredible. So Jurgen is smashing into the SeaWorld bus, and it's just this wild ride on the highway, and then the SeaWorld bus smashes into a hot dog truck. Another aspect of this movie, and I think I have seen this before, the 2-ups.
The 2-ups, yeah.
The 2-ups game.
Make it right. Crazy man, Shane. Crazy man. Come on, let's go.
Well, the tide goes in, the tide goes out.
And it's just 2 quarters flipped in the air. But I have seen this game before. And it was in that weird Australian drinking movie with Donald Pleasance.
Oh, that Wake and Fright movie?
Wake and Fright. That is the only other time that I've seen 2 ups.
That's right. There is a very, very good... I'm sure the stuntman got pretty singed on that. Just a great explosion.
Oh, yeah.
Also, the last kind of shootout where Shanks is teaming up with Hurricane Smith, wearing the Warren t-shirt.
Not warranty, but a Warrant t-shirt.
As in the hair metal band.
What are they famous for, Warrant?
Heaven isn't too far away. I'm too young for this shit!
Yeah, so am I.
It felt very much like a TV movie. And I think that's why people kind of see it as a TV movie. It was directed by TV movie people.
Has TV stars in it.
I would say it's a fun time, right?
I don't know if it's as good as Action Jackson, which you can see at 2 James in Grand Rapids, Wednesday, February 21st.
That's right.
He doesn't have like a million one-liners like he does in Action Jackson.
No, not at all.
There's no like absurd gunplay and explosions every other scene.
He's not riding like the roof of a car at any point.
The ever omnipresent in Australian film scores composer Brian May also does the
from
soundtrack.
Queen, right?
Yes, from Queen. He's a pretty busy guy. Between all his Queen gigs, he did the soundtrack to all the Mad Maxes and Stone, Patrick, Thirst.
So it's a different guy. So Brian May.
This is Australian Brian May is a lot different from British Brian May.
All right.
But he is a prolific Australian film composer, and his score here is pretty good, if a little weird.
There's a lot of saxophone.
There's a lot of synths.
A lot of synths, a lot of saxophone, but it's kind of...
It gets pretty jazzy. It gets a little free jazz.
He'll blow you away is the tagline.
It's pretty good.
It's all right. The girl on the front, is she in the movie?
That doesn't look like anybody.
Is that his sister? Not too bad. Not too bad.
Could be worse.
Could have been a lot worse. Could have been a little bit better, I think. But yet again, thank you for joining us for VHS Roulette.